Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of From the Fourth Line. My name's Emma, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, Marcie.
Hello.
Well, we're here.
We've made it somehow.
It is officially, no matter the outcome of today, the last day of the 2023-24 NHL season.
I'm sad.
In 2 hours from now, so we're on a bit of a time crunch with this episode. In 2 hours from now, the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final will start between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. But I'm nervous that now that I've said it out loud, my stomach has gone all weird.
Because what do you mean? That in only a few hours
we will have a Connor on.
Oh my god.
But yeah, there will be a Stanley Cup champion crowned today. So fantastic. We'll start with the Game 6. I think most of our I'm already this game. Yes, it happened. It was exciting. It was fun. Edmonton Oilers beat Florida 5-1. How fun. But I think most of the time that we're going to spend talking about this game is going to be spent talking about offsides. So
knew it.
First off, hats off to Warren Fogle opens up the scoring.
Yay!
And then that's all the scoring in the first period. That's it. It's just Warren Fogle. And then Adam Henrique very quickly at the start of the second period. I was doing work so I was looking down at my laptop, and then I look up and he scored, and I was like, what?
It's like, whoa.
I also at the same time was not fully awake. I accidentally napped between the first and second period.
Oh, I did think you'd gone a bit quiet.
Okay, yeah, I napped. I also, yeah.
I mean, I can't say anything because I routinely have intermission naps.
You don't have to listen to the panel when you're napping.
No.
If you're asleep, you don't hear the panel. But yeah. And then this is where the discourse really starts, is Alexander Barkov scores. It then gets reviewed and called back due to offside. Now, I saw a lot of people mad about the fact that it was so close that you had to extreme zoom in on it and count pixels to see if it was offside. And the problem is with offside review is there is no rule against saying that you can't do it and that a goal won't get called back by doing this. If it is offside and it is clear enough on video to be like, yeah, it was offside, then by the rules of offside review that got put in place because Matt Duchene was so brutally offside in 2016 and a ref missed it, the dude was 2 feet offside and the ref missed it and you couldn't do anything about it. It was well, that's a goal no matter what, right? This is Matt Duchene's legacy. Offside review is Matt Duchene's legacy.
Yeah, what have you done for hockey?
Matt Duchene got an entire goal review rule implemented. What if you call him Wayne Gretzky? What does Matt Duchene and Wayne Gretzky have in common?
Oh my god.
Anyway, yeah. It was called back for offside review, which this is what happens because of the nature of offside review. And this is where it is, where it's okay, offside, it's what offside is, very black and white. It's not like goaltender interference. You know what is offside and what is not. It is very, here's the line, here's the picture. I can look and see, oh yes, he was offside, which is true. That was the case in that situation. He was offside, but I saw a lot of people getting mad because it was so close. It ruins the nature of the game.
And it's like, you know what? When people are like, oh, it ruins the nature of the game, I don't care. Because you know what? Everyone always complains. They're like, oh, we need consistency in this, how do I know if someone does something, if it's gonna get called or not? Everyone has been complaining about the like insane levels of inconsistency in reffing. And like you can't complain about that and then also complain when there is consistency and when a rule is properly enforced. It's like, was it offside by a few millimeters? Yes. It was still offside. And then,
Oh, yeah.
but then, like, if they'd have gone, oh, well, it was close enough, well, it'll count, then you'd have people complaining because it was technically offside. And it's like, if it's offside, it's offside. There's nothing you can do to change it. Cup. I don't know what else to say. Like, they have a rule, they applied the rule, they stuck to it, and that's how you get consistency.
Yeah.
And
it's not in the spirit in the game. The rule book doesn't work in spirit of the game. It works in black and white, what is written down in the rule. And that was offside. And okay, maybe it was really, really close. And I know Paul Maurice complained after the game because he was like, well, I don't know. And the angles I got, it didn't look offside to me, but I don't know what angles they had. I don't know what angles the decision, whatever, the people in the box, the decision, NHL's decision room. There's a different name for it, isn't it? Is it not? Is it
the people in the sky?
The people in the sky. He's like, I don't know what angles the league had to look at it, but anyways, that's what he said post game. But he was like, if it's offside, it's offside. At the end of the day, it was offside.
Like, is it annoying? It's like, if it's your goal that's being called offside, yeah, of course it's going to be annoying. But it's still offside.
It's a reviewable play. Chris Knobloch has all of the ability in the world to review a reviewable play. And this is where I have to commend Chris Knobloch in his trust in his team and also his balls to call that back, because that was it took me about 3 rewatches in slow motion for me to go, oh yes, that is offside. Eventually, yes, I did see it was offside, but I was like standing up at my TV
doing the dad stance, hands on
the hip, squinting at the screen, and then I saw it. You see it eventually, and obviously the people like and the people in the league have a much better look at it and can blow it up on much bigger screens than I can with my, I think it's a 32-inch maybe TV, right? That I have in my living room that is not of high quality whatsoever and is not in 4K or anything, right? So it's like, obviously they have the better capacity to like look at it more clearly, but it is offside. And also as well, like, he has a lot of trust in his team, and okay, yes, the call doesn't get called back. Well, then you're only up by 1. It's 2-1, but you have a 94.1% penalty kill in the playoffs, which is the highest ever by teams that have played 14 or more games.
It's like, not bad.
You've scored like shorthanded this series. I don't think Chris Knobloch is too worried about his team if they have to be on the penalty kill.
It's like, oh no, the horror. But no, I ended up getting so annoyed at like seeing people on Twitter complaining about it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just put my phone down.
It was like, I'd like scroll through Twitter and then I'd get frustrated with Twitter and then I'd switch to the offside Discord and then I'd chat in the offside Discord and then I'd be like, I think Twitter's calmed down now. And I'd go back to Twitter and then I'd get frustrated with Twitter and then I'd go back to this back and forth of balancing things. But yeah, no, like, this is what we get with review. And I saw a lot of people being like, okay, well then we should implement a leniency rule. Okay, so then how do you decide what the leniency is? How do you decide then what is too closer to what is or what is not leniency? Like, in the leniency rule, you can't
Because then
make
you'd have to have.
additions to a rule and change it because you don't like the outcome of how the rule was called by the book. That's not how sports worked. If we did that, I'm sure Leaf fans would try and find a way to have the Leafs win the Stanley Cup every single year.
Yes.
We would find a way to have rules where it's like, well, the Leafs have to start up with 3 more goals than their opponent.
Yeah, we would study the rule book, like, word by word.
And make changes that only give the Toronto Maple Leafs an advantage. It would explicitly say the Toronto Maple Leafs are the only team that will ever receive a power play. I don't know. Something stupid like that. Or like the when playing the Toronto Maple Leaf teams, when playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, opposing teams must put a position player in net as goalie.
Oh.
Like something stupid like that, right? Where it's like an advantage to the, like, I don't know.
No, it's a rule's a rule, and you can't change it just to fit the circumstance that works best for you. It's
Yeah.
like, why do you want to add a leniency rule? Oh, because one of my team's goals was called off, and it's like in the nicest way possible, just move on. There's nothing you can
Panthers
do.
weren't playing that well this game anyways.
No.
So, like, oh god, they're up 2-1, having to go on the having to go on the power play, which has been bad all series. Oh, okay. Let's have that's totally gonna change the direction of a game in which the Edmonton Oilers won 5-1. Now, 2 of those goals were empty netters, but still, 5-1.
Goal's a goal.
Goal's a goal.
It says it in the rule book.
5-1. When people, 50 years from now look at the scores of these games, they're going to see that the Edmonton Oilers lost to the Florida Panthers. No, sorry. The Edmonton Oilers beat the Florida Panthers. There we go. 5-1.
They're not going to sit and go, ooh, how many of those were empty net? No one cares at the end of the day.
No one cares.
A goal's a goal.
A goal's a goal.
Crosses the line by the rules in the rule book. That is a goal. And as you know, we want consistency. So you can't just decide that it's not a goal.
Yeah.
Also, you just kept playing up today like mad.
Also as well, like the leniency, you're just gonna run into more gray areas. When it comes to the offside review, it's a very black and white rule in the rule book. When it comes for a goal review, probably the most black and white one there can be. Right? For something that can make a goal reviewable, the most black and white one you can have at the end of the day. You can debate what's a hand pass, what's not a hand pass. You can debate what's goalie interference. You can debate what's not goalie interference. But at the end of the day, an offside's offside.
Yeah. There's no, but it was close. It was still offside.
And by adding a leniency rule, you get rid of that black and white. And that's just going to lead to more issues where we're stuck debating what is and what is not, which is not the point of a rule book.
No.
It should not be up to the discretion of anyone at the end of the day. Obviously, because
if it's up
you
to
can't avoid that, but
that's
inconsistency.
A whole new can of worms.
Yeah, new can of worms. But yeah, so then moving on from that very passionate discussion about offsides.
We love our reffing consistency.
We love having very passionate discussions about offside. Shout out to our friends over at Offside. Friend of the show, Offside. They're gonna love this, okay? They're gonna love it.
We love you. We love everyone over Offsides.
We do. I mean, I write for them now, so.
I write for them now, fancy pants. You're too good for just this little old podcast.
They invited me.
Am I not good enough for you anymore?
Not true. Who am I? No, not true. You were first. Remember that.
Okay.
We're going insane. Oh my god. I keep looking at the time and I'm like, oh, we have so much to get through. So I'm gonna power through this. Zach Hyman scored to make it 3-0. Then in the third period, Barkov scored Barkov scored to make it 3-1. He had the best, I want to say the best game out of the Florida Panthers.
The most memorable one.
No, but also in the way, like, not just offensively, but also defensively. Like, if you look at the advanced stats of when he's on the ice and when McDavid's on the ice at the same time, he was the only one who was able to defensively reduce Connor McDavid's impact.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I can't tell you any, like, he's one of the very few I remember seeing on the ice. Whereas, like, all the other ones, I'm like, who is that on top of, who is that on top of Ekholm? Oh, it's Aaron Ekblad. I didn't know he was there.
Yeah, forgot he was playing.
Forgot he was on the ice at this moment, right? So, but it was like, I get, right? I don't. Just a lot of them got lost to me.
Yeah.
Except for Barkov. Bobrovsky was pulled 4-ish minutes. 4-ish minutes into the. I'm gonna pull this up just to make sure that I was right. But whenever he was pulled a possession too early, in my opinion. I know you want to give like the maximum amount of time to your goalie.
But it felt like less of a I believe we can score and come back, and more of a like desperation. I'm pulling the goalie because I don't know what else to do. Sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'm just pulling up the shift chart. But yeah, you are correct.
Thank you. As always. Don't you squint at me.
But yeah, no, he was pulled a possession too early because the empty net was only empty for 22 combined seconds. He got pulled, 56-28. So that's like 3.5 minutes left. I would have, yes, you had to score 2 goals, but also at the same time, like, your defensive structure during the power play for the past 2 games has allowed Edmonton to get pucks past and out of their own zone.
Yeah.
And we've seen it all series. Right? Like,
if you get to the point where you're pulling him with 3.5 minutes to go, and your defense cannot stop pucks in the nicest way possible, do you not think that maybe, just maybe, you should be like preventing pucks from entering the net, like, or at least attempting to?
Yeah, it was too much. Like, it was too early. It was a shift. It was a possession too early. I think they did it at the perfect time in game 5.
Yeah.
Which was about 2.5 minutes left. And I was sitting there going, okay, this shift you pull, and lo and behold.
Who'd have thought?
He did it. Like, Paul Maurice pulled him when I was like, okay, this is the possession where you do it. And, maybe God, I would have to go back and look to see who was on the ice for that possession. And maybe that's when Paul Maurice decided he wanted to pull it. Like, this is like my top guys going out there. Again, I would have to look better at this. I didn't really. I should have, but I got lazy when I was making these notes. It was a long day for me. But yeah, and then he got pulled again after the first empty netter, which I'm like, sure.
I'm like, at that point,
why?
Is there any point?
You're down by 3 and you have you have 3 minutes left, so like I guess okay, but like
in the nicest way possible. Like, I know you like as a coach, you're supposed to believe in your team, but do you believe in them that much?
also as well, like yeah, I just it yeah. But anyways, if Bobrovsky didn't get pulled the second time, what is Ellie?
What?
No way! They got Alanis
No.
Morissette for the national anthem?
Oh my.
Sorry, she's Canadian too, which I find hilarious.
That's deep. That's oh. I am. That's just brilliant.
Anyways,
Thank you,
why did
Elliot.
this get the same reaction as Alex Nedeljkovic resigning in Pittsburgh? I just really like Alanis Morissette. My dad doesn't, but I'm gonna send that to him. I don't know how much he'll appreciate it.
No, but no, I've done as usual my family group chat message of who does everyone want to win tonight? We have, let me get up. We got score predictions as well.
Score predictions?
We take they take this very seriously. My mum, Oilers 4-2 win. My dad 2-0 to the Oilers. I really, really hope that's what happens. And then my sister, who I don't quite think she grasped how we feel about Florida, and I don't blame her because she doesn't have any interest in hockey. She said Florida 3-1. I said she's being disowned as we speak. And then she says, "What, do we like the Oilers?" All caps with a billion question marks. She's been I've sorted her out. She has been informed. But no, so if anything, Ryan McLeod, please score the cup winning goal for my mum. Do it for my mum.
I do want to point out though on the Nurse empty netter, which is the second empty netter, Stuart Skinner assist.
I know. I was so that was such a huge moment for me. I was over the moon. I've literally
He
in my
was
note. I've got in Stuart Skinner's mustache we trust.
the aura of this.
It's just the vibes.
But yeah, no, I think he's been playing lights out. Has become the better goalie. I mean, I will also say the Florida Panthers, it was like halfway through the first, and they had 2 shots on net compared to Edmonton's 10.
That was like,
and they had a power play in that time as well.
That was shocking.
That's just like, anyways, you can't have that. But yeah, I also have just written down Panthers do not look like themselves. Drowning. Oilers finally figured out Bobrovsky, and I think that was the secret. They finally cracked the case on Bobrovsky because Bobrovsky was keeping the Panthers in for the first 3 games. And then you could see game 4, it changed. They figured out Bobrovsky, and now it's like you can see Panthers just don't look like the Florida Panthers.
No.
It's been weird to watch.
And it's like, is it a vibes thing, or are they all? It's more likely that they're all just like on death's door, just powering through on like insane amounts of painkillers. Which, respect it, but like, yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see the
injuries.
The injuries. Now
Kane has something.
I think he's got more than something.
I don't know. I don't like speculating about injury. Like Kane, we know is injured. We know he's playing hurt because it's not that the team is, but like the way the team has acted, it seems like he is. Is Matthew Tkachuk injured? Maybe not to the same degree as he was last season through the playoffs.
Well, like to an extent, I think, yeah. Because it's either that or there's something like big going on.
Yeah.
With him, because it's not.
I'm trying to remember if we could tell he was injured before we knew.
I feel like it wasn't like massively. It's been a year. I'm not.
I know. I'm trying to like.
I feel like there were definitely suspicions.
It's just because I'm trying to think of like everything like and how because like going back you can see it in like knowing what we knew like once we found out just how hurt he was we were all like, oh yeah, that makes sense, like no one, but like I'm trying to figure out if we were like, oh, I can't remember now, it was over a year ago, but okay, so some updates. No Cousins for Game 7 for Florida. Kyle Okposo going back in. Also, there are so many narratives today. I don't know if you've seen the old Connor McDavid tweet from 2013.
I have a tweet drafted quoting it already.
Oh, so you have seen it and you have seen the date.
I think I have 3 tweets prepared, depending on the outcome.
Jesus.
Look, I need to be prepared.
There are so many narratives. Also, Matthew Tkachuk was drafted on this day. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was drafted on this day. There's a lot of narratives at stake here. 2015 draft, where was it held? Florida.
There's just no escaping.
So yeah.
Huge day for narrative enjoyers.
Huge day for narrative enjoyers, and I think it like didn't really hit me like what was today until I saw that Connor McDavid tweet, and I was like, oh.
It's like shit.
Yeah. I'm really excited. We got to move on though. I'm trying to keep an eye on the time.
We're gonna.
Yeah. So another big story from the weekend is weekend. It was a weekend. It's Monday. Rutger McGroarty may be traded. So the Winnipeg Jets are expected to trade their 14th overall 2022 draft pick. Rutger, what a first name. Sorry. Stupid of a first name. But McGroarty returned to UMichigan for a 3rd season this past year, and there seems to be a rumored conflict between Winnipeg and McGroarty's camp regarding the development pathway. Winnipeg is not interested in having McGroarty be guaranteed an NHL roster spot, and that if he's not ready through training camp, they may send him to the AHL to start the season, which is not what he wants. And so there's the conflict. It's rumored the trade will go down on the draft floor during the draft. Loving that.
Yeah.
And Chicago, New York Islanders, and Nashville are the heavy favorites as of today. That's the latest rumor. But
I just think free him from Winnipeg.
He grew up a Jets fan, but it's obvious that I think like he sees like all of his friends and like people he played against in college who got drafted the same year automatically be given NHL spots when they join the NHL. Like The 2022 NHL entry draft. I just want to read off some of like the college names from that draft, just so I'm like in my head. Like Logan Cooley. Uh, trying to think of guys who have already left their respective, who are like not still in college, because like it's not. Why is the only one that I'm coming up with is well, Shia's Casey's had just been like had gone right from college to um playing with the uh he didn't he just start in a game? No, he didn't. Why am I thinking? I'm thinking of someone else. Never mind. I'm wrong. Why am I'm having a hard. I should have done more research into this. This is embarrassing, as always. Was Lane Hudson the name I was looking for? Yes, it was. It was Lane Hudson. He went right from college to playing with playing with the Canadians. Like Matthew Nyes did the same. Um, Brock Faber did the same. Didn't spend any time in Iowa. I said Logan Cooley. Who else was on that UMinn team? I'm not talking about UMich anymore, but like who am I thinking of? Who am I thinking of? Because it was like, was it Logan? Anyways, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But like, and like also as well, Cutter Gauthier got traded from Philadelphia to Anaheim. No, yeah, from Philadelphia to Anaheim for the exact same reason, essentially, at the end of the day. So obviously as well, and like Frank Nazar as well. He played 3 games with the Chicago Blackhawks at the end of the season. That's who it was. So like obviously the groundwork is there, right? For him to want to take this path. And he feels like he's NHL ready, which I don't watch U-ish hockey enough to tell you that.
No.
I've heard that like his scoring is there, yes, but his skating is not, which sure. I'll take people's words for it.
Yeah.
But it will be interesting, and if it does happen on the draft floor, that does maybe imply that there is some picks involved in moving around.
Which is exciting for us.
I mean, I will be stressing out about it the entire time because I will be at a Niall Horan concert on Friday night during the first round of the draft.
Oh no. It's fine, I'll keep you updated.
I don't know if I'll be able to enjoy a concert when I'm standing there checking my phone for new Twitter notifications of whether Rutger McGroarty, how do you even say his name? McGroarty? Rutger McGroarty? That sounds wrong.
Yeah.
Why?
That's another name I've never said out loud.
Yeah. I'm realizing in starting this podcast, there are a lot of hockey names in which I know how to spell that I have never in my life said out loud. And then I come to having to say them out loud.
And you're just like, oh, how do I do this? And as well, I think, especially for me, it doesn't matter how I say someone's name, it never sounds right. Because I have a British accent, and I'm used to hearing them in like American and Canadian accents. So I'm just sat and I'm like, I could be saying it the exact same way and it just sounds wrong because of the way I like say my letters.
Yeah. I don't know, we'll keep an eye out on that one. Who knows? Also some re-signing news. Oh, I dropped my pen.
No.
Alex Turcotte re-signs with the LA Kings for a 3-year contract extension that's valued at $775,000 annual cap hit. That's just his annual cap hit. In his NHL career, he's played 32 games where he scored 1 goal, 3 assists for a combined 4 points. That's over the course of like 3 different seasons. He was selected 5th overall, and this is where I remind you, hey, COVID messed up a lot of player development, and he is one of those guys whose player development was probably absolutely sewered by COVID. Like, I put him in the same boat as Nick Robertson in that aspect. I think they were even pretty much the same draft anyways. And both were OHL guys, or like, yeah. Both were like, went not the college route, if I remember correctly. I was looking at his Wikipedia page today. Oh, no, he did play for University of Wisconsin-Madison. But he only played 1 year with University of Wisconsin and then signed with the LA Kings. So, I promise I know what I'm talking about. It's been a long day. But yeah, good for him. I heard this is a good thing. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting to talk about this.
Yeah.
Also as well, some Toronto Maple Leafs updates, which we didn't even open the show with. Look at that. We're changing as a podcast.
The playoffs have changed us.
The playoffs have changed us. We mentioned the Toronto Maple Leafs, 4 topics deep? The Leafs have hired Marc Savard as the final assistant coach to round out Craig Berube's. Is it Berube? I've heard it pronounced 2 different ways. Coaching staff. Marc Savard, former player, has played around 800 games in the NHL before he was forced to retire due to post-concussion syndrome. Won a cup in 2011 with the Boston Bruins. Was with Calgary last season running their power play. Also was on Berube's staff in St. Louis, running a very successful power play there. I have nothing to say on this because we've been hearing about this since he left Calgary a month ago.
It's like, it's just been announced, but it's old news at this point.
It was announced yesterday at 5 p.m. where I'm like, okay, if you're announcing Sunday, like news at Sunday at exactly 5 p.m., oh, that's just what time we finished up solidifying all of the details. My ass, Brad. It's the biggest lie I've ever heard someone say from the Leafs organization. And I've heard a lot of lies come from the Leafs organization over the years. But like, yeah, no. If anything comes exactly at 5 p.m., like if any news gets announced from the Leafs exactly at 5 p.m., it was planned that way.
You've been sitting on this.
You've been sitting, especially because it's a Sunday.
It's like,
do it Monday morning at 8 a.m. and I believe you more.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not being funny. You do not come to big decisions like this on a Sunday at 5 p.m.
I feel like that was, I'm sure it was probably like a scheduled post, but I do feel bad for the poor like socials manager who has to sit there and log on at 5 p.m. on a Sunday. Hit send on a tweet.
You hit send on a tweet.
Announcing the assistant coach that everyone has been expected to be announced for the past month.
Yeah, it's like,
But yeah, also as well, some news. This was big news this morning for us.
Huge.
According to Kevin Weeks, which we always know is a very reliable source when it comes to this sort of, like if Kevin Weeks is making a video on it,
it's happening.
It's happening. Joseph Woll contract extension. It's rumored to be somewhere in the $3.5 to $4 million range for 3 years, which will start the 2025-26 season. He still has 1 more year left at $766,000, which is this year. Marcie's very happy.
I'm so happy. So, right, bear in mind, when I found out about this, 15 minutes before it was announced, I was like, I'm gonna. I wake up to Emma FaceTiming me, being like, check what I've just sent you, check what I've just sent you. So I was like, I was sat and thinking, this could genuinely be absolutely anything. So then I go and check it. Bear in mind, I've been awake approximately 20 seconds at this point. So not only does Emma witness me waking up, but also spending like a good 30 seconds reading it, not believing it, rereading it again. No, I did read that right. And then like slowly starting to lose my mind. I don't think I will ever feel the same amount of happiness as I felt in that moment. Ever again. See, I'm sure it was a very fun experience for you. Just
I wish I was recording that FaceTime call because that was prime entertainment that I could use to haunt you forever.
oh, I've got like it was one of those naps where you wake up and you don't know what time or day it is. I had in 15 minutes managed to get the most insane case of bedhead. I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I was asleep for 15 minutes. What happened? Where have I been?
Yeah. And for those, because I saw a lot of people saying it was too much money. Let me tell you, because they were like, well, he's only played 32 games. He still is at $766,000 this season.
Mm.
I also think it's a deal that comes with very limited trade protection.
Mm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like as much as I would love to have Joseph Woll locked down for 8 years with like hard iron trade protection. We're like, he's not going anywhere. We get Joseph Woll forever. As much as I would love that
One day.
so very much, one day we will get there. Like it gives I think this team will have flexibility with him. But also like he's still cheap next season where you can actually fully hopefully see him through the course of a full season without injuries, knock on wood, where he will get a good tandem going with whether it's Stollerts, whether it's Brossois, we'll see come July 1st who it is, who Brad decides to pick up. But also as well, like I'm going to put this into perspective of just how low the bar is for Joseph Woll. Someone tweeted out like some in and around the numbers, like the goalies that are in like the 3.4 to like $4 million range of like kind of where the bar would be at for Joseph Woll with this pay. Keep in mind, Ilya Samsonov last season was getting paid $3.55 million, right? So he's right there. But the low is you have to do better than Vitek Vanacek, who was at 4.4, and like Jonas Korpisalo, who was getting paid $4 million by Ottawa this past season. The bar is on the floor of how well you have to do at that price.
Mm-hmm. And as well, like, in the nicest way possible, I don't want to be mean to anyone, but I'm about to be. Like, you look at everyone that's on the market at the moment, like goalie wise, you want to be paying Joseph Woll whatever it takes to get him to stick around. Because it, like, whoever you go for, you're going to be paying just as much, if not more. And it's like, you've got a solid goaltender in Joseph Woll. Keep him around. He's good. And at the end of the day, you need a good goaltender and a reliable one, which Joseph Woll very much is, minus injuries.
Yeah. Like, you have, like, when he's not hurt, you can depend on him.
Oh, yeah. He carries
and I'm gonna say
the team.
I'm gonna say it this way. People are gonna be like, well, what about the games against Boston? You gave him a very hard matchup in his return from injury, in which it is an injury that has always been said by people who have gone through it. It is hard to trust your ankle after going, like, immediately after having a high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
Like, you lose the trust in that joint after experiencing that.
Yeah,
so it obviously, yes, it will have an impact on how he plays. We saw it with how Mitch Marner played as well. I think that high ankle sprain had an impact on his play in the playoffs. Absolutely, I think that. And I still think
massively.
that. Because it's like, if you suddenly can't trust a joint that you rely on because you're afraid of getting hurt again, that's going to change the way you play, and it's going to change the way you impact. And then we saw him absolutely turn it around and turn it on against Carolina and for the rest of the season. And then when he was playing in the playoffs against Boston.
Literally. And
like,
I think a lot of people forget a sprained ankle is something that lingers. And not to sound dramatic, it haunts you for the rest of your life. I sprained my ankle years ago. And it's like, okay, yeah, granted, I didn't have the rehab facilities that the Leafs have. I had an NHS physio sheet that told me to do some exercises every now and then. But it's like, it still bothers me. It's still a lot weaker than my other ankle. You can't, and it's like, this is years, like, you can't expect him, someone who relies on the ankle for, like, his job. You can't expect him to just bounce back immediately and not have any issues with it. It's gonna cause issues, and he's gonna be worse at some points than others. That's a lot that happens. That's life. That's ankles for you.
And it's also obvious as well in the way that Brad spoke about Joseph Woll in his end of season interviews that he trusts him, and that's the plan going forward for the Leafs and net in the long term. Obviously, like, the way I like to visualize it is, like, the Leafs are always going, like, I think the Leafs are in a situation right now in how their pipeline and how they kind of have organized that position, that goaltending for them will not be forced into being a very expensive position in the next 4 years.
No.
Laura, like, plus and Stolarz will probably be not crazy expensive free agents. Considering they're both traditionally have held a second goalie role in their careers, right? Like, it's not like you're acquiring a second starter. You're acquiring not necessarily a backup, but a second goalie. Because they're not going to be a backup. I don't think Joseph Woll is going to play 62 games a year. I think he's going to play maybe closer to 35, 40. Probably somewhere like 40. If I want to put an exact number on it, 41. I think they're going to go halfway. I think it's going to be bar injuries, bar whatever. We're going to go 50 right down the middle, 50%, 41 games. And then you also have to think about the fact, okay, well, you have Dennis Hildeby, who is almost there.
Yeah.
He's almost NHL ready. Look, he was like, okay, yes, the Leafs really got backed into a wall when they were calling him up for that West Coast road trip and had Martin Jones play 3 games in a row, including back-to-backs. But, like, he was ready to go in it still shows they have faith in him when they were like, okay, if we need to, we would rather go with Dennis Hildeby, who is untested in the NHL, than Ilya Samsonov, who obviously needed the rest, like, needed to needed to not go on that road trip, but
Yeah.
you can see. And he's going to be cheap when he comes up because he's whatever going to get probably a very similar contract to Joseph Woll, in which that Woll's on now. So,
and then we will have our 2 baby goalies.
then we'll have Marcie's dream Leafs goalie tandem.
Because my entire life has led up to this moment, and it's not even happened.
But yeah, so like I think that's what I have to say. I obviously knew we were going to spend a lot of time talking about this specifically because I knew we were going to have a lot of thoughts on it.
Yep. And you know me very well.
I was also talking about myself, like I knew myself very well.
Oh no. Yeah. We will both have many thoughts.
Also as well, Leafs announced their preseason schedule. They're playing 6 games, which is 2 less than they played last season. Starting on, you sent me that link. Starting on September 22nd, they'll play against Ottawa in Toronto, and then they will be done by October 1st, in which they're playing Detroit at home. But they play 2 games against Ottawa, 2 games in Montreal, and 2 games against Detroit, all of them being 1 home and 1 away. So, by the looks of this, like, maybe we will see games in which we have more of it'll be a closer resemblance of what, like, the season openers roster is going to be. Who knows? Because I know last year, like, 8 was a lot, because it got to the point where, like, I was seeing them in Ottawa and I was watching Kyle Clifford play NHL preseason games. Kyle Clifford.
Yeah.
Like, dope, cool to see you here, Kyle, but like, come on.
It's like, it's nice to see you here, but like also, what are you doing here?
That's exactly it, where I was like, okay, like, you are not making the roster.
It's just like, what? It's like they just took the Marlies and just went, right, in their heart, I'm gonna take you.
Yeah, and like also, like, I understand teams' desire to play more preseason games because it is for them a way to sell tickets outside of 82 games that you play. And but I do think, you could go down to 4 games. The only thing is, like, I like being able to, like, it is like guaranteed that in this current form, the Leafs will play these Senators during the preseason. And I like having a cheaper game in which I can go see the Leafs play. Right? Like, I like being able to afford to see the Leafs play 3 times a year instead of just 2.
It's nice.
It is nice. It is nice.
Because then that means I get to see the Leafs play 3 times a year through you.
You get me my warm-up pictures.
We're just sat there, just like, Emma, send them.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'll be there September 24th or whenever they're in Ottawa, and have to decide on what jersey to wear.
Decisions.
But yeah, also as well, speaking of Ottawa, Allmark trade rumors. I know what it was like. Just last episode, I was talking about Philadelphia and Ottawa trade rumors, but there's like a lot going towards this, like, these Allmark trade rumors in which he's willing to waive his no trade clause for Ottawa. When has anyone ever wanted to willingly move to Ottawa? I say this as someone who chose Ottawa for school and moved here willingly. I'm allowed to make fun of this city. No one else. I'm allowed to make fun of Ottawa, but yeah, just look, I want to just break this down, and like, if Steve Stais is able to pull this off, they will build him a statue outside of
Yeah.
outside of Canadian Tire Center. Is you'll acquire Allmark, which will solve your goaltending problems basically overnight. Especially if he comes with an extension. The main piece going the other way from Ottawa is rumored to be Chikrin, so you'll get rid of Mr. Raw Meat, Raw Milk Enjoyer. And you also will receive from Boston, apparently heavily rumored, is you'll get Lawco coming the other way. Can tell I bought some really great grapes from the grocery store the other week.
Stop.
So if he needs a plug when he's here.
There's the grapes plug.
Grapes plug. But yeah, and apparently there's also like picks will be included. I don't know. I do think this will be a very big trade.
Oh yeah. I mean,
a huge trade.
Emma, Twitter will explode.
I can't wait.
The death of goalie hugs.
Also, reminder. Ottawa and Boston are in the same division 4 times a year, baby.
I don't know if I'm mentally strong enough.
I will willingly, if this trade goes through, I will willingly pay to go to an Ottawa-Boston game.
Oh, wow. No, because, like, what happened? Like, did it...
I will willingly pay to go to an Ottawa-Boston game. I will pay money to go to that game.
That's big. It's like, I want to know, what do they do, like, in warm-ups? Will they do, like, a little I miss you fist bump? Or, like...
Will they even acknowledge? Like...
Or will they do, like, a hug from the other end of the ice? Like a little air hug?
I don't know.
Do we get high fives? Or is it just... I don't want to think about it.
I don't know. It was a very fun conversation I was having with Simon over dinner on Saturday about this trade. But yeah.
I think I've come to the conclusion that I just really don't like change.
Sports was a bad choice.
I should have just stuck to, like, reading. Or, like... I don't think I've ever had hobbies that weren't, like, sport. And I still don't like change.
Yeah, because I do think, like, the biggest issue that the Senators had, and I don't know, I feel like I said this all throughout the season as well, and this is not just, like, postseason me taking over when but it was goaltending. For them, that was the issue, was goaltending.
Massively. Like, it just was. But... no. The death of goalie hugs is upon us, I guess.
We always knew this was coming, though, with like, that's the worst part about this all, if you wanted to think of this from a narrative perspective, is, like...
it was doomed from the beginning.
Doomed from the beginning, and, like, a creation... I don't want to put this all on Jeremy Swayman, but, like, it's his contract.
I'm
just saying, it's his contract's the reason why.
Ouch.
Am I wrong?
No.
Jeremy Swayman is such a good goalie that he played his best friend out of the team. It's the honest truth.
I'm gonna have to just like sit and reflect on this later.
But yeah, and I think it's kind of like confirmed the fact that Boston is going to move Allmark because today they announced that they have signed Brandon Bussey to a 1-year, 2-way extension with a cap hit of $775,000, which is like
Now it's a waiting game.
Yeah, now it's a waiting game. That kind of he was the one who would come. They were injured at one point, but he was the one who would like be called upon to come in. Yeah, that's the word that I was looking for. But yeah, so now that I've left you with that, let's talk about the Arizona land auction.
Oh boy.
Can I call I want to say one thing about this, but can I call Alex Murillo a dumbass? Am I allowed to do that without getting sued? We're far enough into the podcast. I think I can say it.
And you're voicing an opinion, which is allowed because you're not claiming anything. If you stick "I think" in front of any sentence, it's an opinion, and you will have every right to have one. Problem solved.
I think he's a dumbass. Anyways, the city of Phoenix announced that the land auction for the parcel of land that was projected to be the new hockey arena, plaza, amusement park thing that Alex Murillo wanted to build to replace for a new home for the Arizona Coyotes. They canceled it. And due to, I want to pull this off. Here we go. Due to the type of permits, kind of hockey arena that Alex Murillo wanted to build there, could build there and wanted to build there. The land was already zoned for an indoor hockey arena, except failing to mention that the land was zoned for an indoor youth hockey arena, not a 17,000 seat NHL arena. So there was also issues with the permits as well. There was he needed to have a special use permit allowing the arena to be built before the land auction, which he didn't have. And there wasn't they didn't have the proper lawyers present in turn. The Coyotes team didn't have lawyers look over it. They didn't have a land auction lawyer or whatever, whatever type of law this is, a permit lawyer. I don't even know what type of law this would be, but they didn't. Essentially, messy, made more mistakes and kind of shot themselves in the foot with this, and then released a statement, which I want to read because I think the statement is hilarious. Can I read the statement out loud?
Take the stage.
Today, after over a year of planning and meeting every single obligation required under Arizona law, the Arizona State Land Department unilaterally canceled the auction that was scheduled to occur on June 27th for the site that has been identified as the future home of the Arizona Coyotes. This unprecedented action by the state of Arizona seriously jeopardizes the future of NHL hockey returning to the desert. As it was announced in April press conference by Coyotes owner Alex Murillo and NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, the site of North Scottsdale Road and the 101 was identified ideally suited to build a 110-acre mixed-use development anchored by a state-of-the-art arena to serve as the home of the Coyotes. It has been made very clear to the state of Arizona that the Coyotes are fully committed to building out the infrastructure, going through the necessary approvals, and developing the site into a world-class destination. Yet the ASLD has canceled the auction despite the objections of the Coyotes less than a week before the scheduled auction date. There's more. The organization has worked in good faith with the ASLD and has been on track to win the auction next week until a sudden reversal by ALSD today. By canceling the land auction, the state is forgoing millions and potentially billions of dollars that would have gone directly to K-12 education. How? Sure. By investing in the infrastructure on this site, the Coyotes would have unlocked over 2,000 acres of state land for development that would have returned over $2 million to Arizona schools, created thousands of construction and permanent jobs, and created a new significant tax base to support the future growth of our state. The Arizona Coyotes are exploring all of our legal options given the short-sighted decision by the state. I'm confused how a hockey arena can go back towards primary school education.
Yeah.
Also, you're the ones who didn't have the necessary permits in place and also did not want to build what the land was actually zoned for.
Yeah.
So maybe you're the ones making a short-sighted decision.
Yeah, I think they need to
sorry, this
find
game,
a
it's
mirror
stupid.
and look at themselves inside mirror and ask, am I the problem? Because I think the answer they will find is yes.
Like, I want hockey to return to the desert so bad. Like, I want the Arizona Coyotes to come back. I think it's so important for the growth of the sport, for the growth of hockey, for there to be hockey in Arizona. Also, jersey's sick as hell.
Yeah.
Love the Kachina.
They gave us sexy jerseys.
They gave us sexy black jerseys.
I miss them every day.
I also think that the Arizona Coyotes as a franchise and as an organization will not and cannot have success under Alex Marullo and the Marullo family. Because I'm looping Junior in there as well. Because that dude has messed up multiple times.
Yeah.
So you need a new ownership group. And maybe I think that potentially could be Gary Bettman's plan is like, okay, well, let them try and, let them run out the clock for 5 years. And then once they lose the ownership groups to the organization, hand it to someone or have someone else buy it or hand it off to someone who will be able to actually build and create a well thought out and successfully run team.
Yeah, because at this point, it's just straight up disrespectful to Arizona hockey. And how are you gonna fumble this and just expect to just get away with it? You can't mess up this bad and just push the blame onto everyone but you. It's very much it's just it really pisses me off.
Yeah. It's anyways, I think that statement, I needed to read that out in full because I think that statement is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever read in my entire life.
Yeah.
And meeting every obligation required under Arizona law. No,
so
you didn't
follow the law. I fail to see how that's anyone's fault but yours.
Meeting every obligation required. No, you didn't. You didn't have the permit you needed to have to purchase the land. It's not a secret. We know this. This is in direct contradiction.
I want to know how people who have so few brain cells can be in charge of something like this and not us. We'd do a better job at this point. And, it's just frustrating. And it's just because without the Coyotes, we wouldn't have Austin Matthews, we wouldn't have Matthew Nyes. I can't stress the importance of this team enough.
Yeah.
Look at what it shows what you can truly get when you put hockey in non-traditional markets. Because you get a whole new group of players who are so insanely good, who wouldn't even know that they could play if they hadn't been given the opportunity to like go to games and to get involved in like youth hockey. It's so important because it's like it's important for like everyone, but think about how different the league would be without Austin Matthews. Like if he just didn't exist because he never grew up playing hockey because he never knew he could play hockey. How different would the league be without just this one person who is only here because there was hockey in Arizona? Yep,
Yeah.
that's my issue with it. It sucks, and I hope something gets sorted in the near future. Because it's just not fair to people who deserve to be able to play and watch hockey, who now have less access to it.
Yeah. So cool, Joseph. Sorry, I think about like what a loss the Arizona Coyotes branding is. You guys know how I love good branding, though.
Yeah. You do love good branding.
I'm trying to lighten it up before we change topics. That's the problem.
It's like we've gone from the devastation of no hockey in Arizona to sexy jerseys.
Matvey Michkov, potentially rumored to actually be leaving the KHL and coming to the Philadelphia Flyers. See, it's a very, very quick jump that I'm doing, that I was trying to lighten it up by being like, cool, branding, transition into something that's not so sad.
But no, that's big. That's exciting. But yeah.
But yeah, no, it's gone to like, I don't want to say, it's not just rumors. Like apparently he has like even like Elliot Friedman has tweeted about this in the past couple of days. So like there's some merit to it. It's not just like a will they, won't they? But like, which is good, which is I think a lot of the reason why um he dropped so far. He dropped so far down in the draft order. Like he was expected to go much higher, but people were afraid that they weren't going to get him out of Russia.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, that'll be exciting.
yeah, so apparently it'll be a while before it's made official. Like it won't be made official soon. I think there's still definitely like Flyers can't say any announcements until like visas issues are resolved, which I think is currently the issue that they're dealing with. So, but we'll get an announcement.
Mm.
And when we do, we'll talk about it and celebrate.
That's
It's
what we
cool.
do best.
That's what we do best. It's what we do best. Yeah. Oh my God. We're getting closer and closer to game time, and I'm like unable to keep my focus.
Oh, 45. Oh no.
45
Oh no, I
minutes.
just like nervous giggled so hard that my back cracked and it really hurt. Oh, that was not fun. Yeah. my gosh, it's gonna be over so soon. So I'm just like looking at the time now, and I'm like,
I know. Oh my god. Anyways, I'm trying to think. I feel like there was something else I wanted to bring up that I just didn't put down in my notes, and now I'm trying to remember it. Oh, I mean, there was a. Oh, yes, I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was hilarious. We talked about last episode about Darcy Kemper getting traded to LA and Pierre-Luc Dubois
yeah,
trade. Apparently, now Darcy Kemper had his first media availability over Zoom with members of the LA Kings media, and he said he found out he got traded while he was in the shower, and his wife came into the room while he was showering to say, "I think we got traded."
that. You see, I'm just trying to imagine, like, if I was in that situation, I'm like, obviously, you just go, oh, what? Like, you turn around, shampoo in his eye. Like, imagine you like trying to like
I
the
would have
fact that
slipped
you full of banana peel.
like on a patch of conditioner. Conditioner gets slippery in the shower.
It does. I tried a new hair mask the other day, and I so nearly like fully slipped over in the shower, and I was like, that could have ended very bad. I was like, if you fall over in the shower, that's gotta be the most embarrassing thing. Like, I just can't imagine coming back from that.
Starting the season on the LTIR because you slipped in the shower after you found out you got traded.
Oh, could you imagine?
Remind Anyways, yeah, I thought that was very funny, but I just wanted to bring up also as well, the Anaheim Ducks may have leaked their New Jersey design by way of the Honda Center app. Did you
Yeah.
see that?
Mm,
Like, it's
great
exactly
logo.
what we all expected. That's the problem, is I'm looking at it, I'm like, should I be surprised? Am I supposed to be surprised?
And like, oh my god. Like, I love it, and I'm excited for the New Jerseys, but also like I saw someone who was just like, yeah, okay. It was expected like oh I can't remember. I think they were like, oh, I don't know why I expected more, and I'm like, what did you just expect them to just like slap Trevor Zegras' face just like on the jerseys? Like, there's only so much you can do with
The problem
like
is if
a
you slap Trevor
rebrand.
Zegras' face onto a jersey, those would do exceptionally well.
Oh my, they would do incredible. Anyway, Anaheim Ducks. If you're looking for anyone like to come up with new creative ideas,
Specialty jersey nights?
Trevor Zegras night.
No, you slap Trevor Zegras' face on a jersey. That's basically Pride Night. I can't say that. That was a joke. No, why did I say it? I can't say that. Makes it sound like I think he's gay. Which, how do I?
D'Amelia family night. Stick Dixie's face on a jersey.
Those would also sell really well.
Dude, I would buy them.
Like, ironically, people would buy those.
Mm.
I want to let the record show that I do not think Trevor Zegras is gay. I was making a joke about, oh no, I'm digging myself a bigger hole.
Emma, you're joking about gay people. That's problematic.
During Pride Month too. Okay, I want to let the record show I'm gay. No, I do not think Trevor Zegras is gay, and I was making a joke. Does that cover all of my bases?
Yeah.
I'm not being homophobic.
I'm sure he'd find it funny.
Would he?
Well, if he
Dude's from
doesn't,
upstate New York.
I mean, yeah, but like, also, we saw the Rooftops playlist he had with Jamie Drysdale.
I just hate that I do this.
It's fine. You're just
Why do
incredibly funny. You're naturally funny.
I keep digging myself bigger holes. Every time on the podcast I say something and I'm like, oh
Oh
no, that's gonna come back to haunt me. And it's always near the end, so I'm like, maybe no one will listen this much.
it'll be fine. Yeah.
Sorry. Oh yes. I realized we maybe should have had this discussion before we started recording because it was about our schedule for the next week. Just a little bit of housekeeping. Because I was just gonna say we may or may not have an episode on Thursday. Because it's my sister's high school graduation on Thursday. And even though her graduation ceremony is at 1, I don't know what I'm doing after that.
Yeah.
So I believe I don't know. My parents haven't told me if there's some dinner or something or whatever. But if we are in a situation where there is we cannot record on Thursday, we probably then won't record. We may record depending on how much news there is in the next couple of days, we may record a very short episode on Friday. That's depending on how much news goes on, in which that case it will allow us to clear the slate from news of like any, I guess, discussing the Stanley Cup final, any news that happens in trades or signings before free agency or before the draft. And also NHL awards, because that's on Thursday.
Shit, yeah.
And then that'll have us wipe the slate clean for whatever madness happens on the draft. And then if we have the time, we will do a draft specific episode on Saturday.
Potentially.
I don't know what your schedule. This is a discussion we should have had before we started recording, so we're not. We should have a joint Google Calendar at this point.
Yeah, I'll have to double. Honestly, I lose track of what day it is half the time, so I never know what I have going on.
Are you doing anything Saturday night?
I don't think so.
Okay, then we'll record Saturday night.
There'll be time.
We'll find time. We'll do a draft episode. That way, it wipes the slate clear for Mondays, which will be a regularly scheduled episode, but we will only talk about free agency. We will film it after day 1 of free agency, and then we will return to our regularly scheduled episodes from there on out till we take our break halfway through July. What's our last day? Have we figured that?
I am away from the 14th.
Okay, and the 14th is a Sunday, so the 11th will be our last episode under our regular schedule, and we will be taking a break.
Off-season begins.
Before our off-season begins, and we will be taking a break, quote-unquote break. I may, if there's some major, huge, like we have a giant week where there's a bunch of signings and everything, or whatever, like something crazy goes on in those few weeks, may put out a surprise episode. If I'm trying to not say too much, to not like put ourselves in a place where we're promising episodes and things like that, but like it may be me and I may be able to grab a guest to who can come on. So
Sorry, I just smacked my hand on a wall.
so yeah. So that's the plan for the next week, because a week today is the first day of free agency.
No, don't say it. I'm so scared. Whoa.
Oh god.
What?
We may have to we may end up sticking on here for a little bit, because there may be a there may be the Allmark trade going down today.
Ooh. Oh no, I don't think I'm ready for this.
I'm just sorry. So yeah, we may actually do what we did with what was it? The bunting. Remember when we stayed on for the bunting and then we cut to our live reactions for the bunting trade because we didn't know what the return was?
Yep.
They're not gonna start the puck won't actually drop for game 7 until like another hour from now.
Yeah.
So so maybe we will cut to our live reactions to the Bruins trade.
Oh no, I've just opened Twitter and the first 2 tweets. Hearing deal with Ottawa for Ullmark is going down. We'll see on the return. Directly underneath, Ullmark trade is about to devastate Boston fans. Return is brutal.
Yeah, that's what's being sent through the Offside Discord right now.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. If not, it will cut to our outro.
It's out.
What?
It's official.
Stop! They Stop. Okay, hold on. I gotta mute my TV so you guys don't hear the background. Okay, so this was so worth it. This was so fucking worth it.
Oh my god.
Where is it? Where's the tweet? Did you send it to me?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Via Chris Johnson. The Sens have officially acquired Linus Ullmark from Boston for Jonas Korpisalo, the number 25 pick, and Mark Kastelik. The Sens retain 25% of Korpisalo, who is on a, what, $4 million? Yes. I just said it, right? $4 million earlier in this show. So that 25% is $1 million.
Oh my god. Oh my. I don't even. Oh.
Which I. Steve Steo's masterclass. Full deal. Oh. Boston's original.
I'm I don't even. He's gone. Rest in peace, Linus Olmark. He's not dead. He's just in fucking Ottawa.
Hey!
He's apart from his Jeremy. Oh my god. Oh my.
This is hilarious.
Oh my god. Right, how long do you reckon it's gonna be until someone drops a goalie hook edit?
Oh, I don't know. But I love that we're still recording. I think now's a good time to end the show.
Yeah. Well, that happened. Oh my god. I don't even know.
So with that being said, we'll leave it off here. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode. We will see you on Friday and not Thursday this week. Enjoy Game 7. We will be back on Friday to discuss Game 7 and the NHL awards and everything else that may or may not happen this week. I have a really long episode to edit while I watch this game.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So with that being said, you can find the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow the show on Twitter at From the Fourth Line. That's fourth with the number 4TH. You can follow Marcie on Twitter at 60 Leafs. You can follow myself at PearV1. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you on Friday. The NHL season is almost officially over. We've made it.
We survived.
And
Barely.
Boston traded Allmark. What an episode. Great episode. All right. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.